Welcome to the Gals Guide podcast. Join us on an adventure to get to know famous and infamous women from around the world. Each of our presenters has a pick. Is she ancient history? Is she breaking news? Is she safe for work? Well, that's up to each presenter. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
It is a new month at the Gals Guide podcast. We are continuing our around the world travel adventures. And this month, we are learning about African gals. So the continent of Africa is made up of 54 unique countries with over 2,000 different spoken languages. So I'm just going to choose one of them to say hello. So how about Swahili, which is Habi Ray. So Habi Ray, look at that. So Habi Ray to our travelers this month. As I introduce people, this will be really fun. Because first up, she's the head librarian of Gals Guide. And she is the new El Presidente of Gals Guide as well. It is Bonnie Just Fillenworth, everybody.
Yay!
Yay!
President.
So what is new with you besides your whole inauguration and everything?
Yeah, got married recently.
Yay!
We're in the process of moving into a new house, so I'll be 9 minutes away from the library.
Yes. Amazing.
And yeah.
It's going to be great. Eventually.
It's about to be gardening season. I've slowly started some seeds.
Sweet.
Exciting.
Look at that. You're excited about spring then?
Yes,
Things
I'm
to
excited
grow.
about it being warmer.
Yeah.
And it not being dark at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are all fair things. Yeah. No, I completely concur. So next up, she is our fab book club director. And I want to say also a vice president of Gals Guide as well.
Yes.
It's Katie Young, everybody. Yay!
Thank you.
Katie, what have you been up to since last month?
Oh my gosh, nothing.
Oh, okay.
Nothing.
Awesome.
I did hit a big milestone of
Yeah.
reading 41 books in January.
That's
Whoa!
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
My Kindle told me 41 books read in
I love
January.
it. I'm very proud of you.
That's
Yes, thank you for your service to books. Yes.
Yeah,
thank
well,
you.
you know, I got winter break off from work
Yep.
and got sick the second week of my winter break. So I did have a little bit of a head start with my reading marathon.
Sure.
But I've been reading a ton. And I'm making extra recommendations on the book club newsletter. So if you're not already in
Yes.
book club, sign up and you'll get information about what we're reading that month. And then bonus destinations, titles that you can read to enjoy traveling through reading.
Yes, I love it. I mean, just book recommendations in general are amazing. So, and you have a really good knack of picking a book that be like, I wouldn't have chose this, but I'm so glad that I read it. So,
Thank
yes,
you.
I adore it. Next up, he is a returning guest. And yes, I did say he. It's been a while since I've said he on the podcast. So give a wonderful welcome back to Joshua Leach, everybody. Yay!
Hello, everybody.
So Josh, it's been a bit, so totally reintroduce yourself to the people.
I am Joshua, and I am the head of the Gals Guide Walking Club.
Yes, you are. Yes.
And if you have not already, sign up for the Walking Club newsletter so you'll know when and where we're going to be walking. It is the second Saturday of every month.
Mm-hmm.
And unless that changes because of weather.
Because of weather, yes.
Which we've had to do lately.
Yeah.
When are we going to start walking in these different countries, though?
Well,
Just have walking club in
Once you're-
Australia.
once we get some grants for
walking
that.
club
When
in
we get some
Africa.
grants,
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll
fair.
do it.
There
But
you go.
we do talk about your walking club on the podcast, and we've talked about how many times you've been able to put a little bit of women in history within your club, and how cool that's been. In fact, you went and saw houses designed by somebody. You walked outside of houses designed
Yes.
by somebody we talked about here on the podcast,
Yeah.
Averill Shaw.
Yes.
Yeah, Avril Show, we went
Avril,
by
yeah.
her places over in Carmel, and then we walked around and looked at different libraries of Noblesville, and that was another topic that had been talked about on the
Because we talked about
podcast.
librarians, and then we also talked
Yeah,
about Hamilton County gals. Yeah.
And then now, those were kind of one-offs, but now every month it's now not just walking club, it's a women's history walking club. So January, we walked to the Great Desert of Noblesville to look at prickly pears, which tied into, in Australia, since it was Australia month, they had a real big problem with prickly pear cactuses brought over from the Americas, and they used them as
Invasive.
hedges. And they basically took over large swaths of what would have been either land for cattle or for growing crops and made them useless because of all the prickly pears. And so we talked about that. And so this month, we'll be talking about another gal of history from Africa and trying to tie that into the library or to something in Noblesville.
Yay!
So
Very
I
cool.
love it. It's very, very cool. It's like a walk and talk.
yes, it is. It's
Yeah.
a walk and talk.
I
And
dig
sometimes there's coffee.
Coffee. Yes. That gets all the people there. Yes. As for me, I am Dr. Leah Leach. I'm the executive director of Gals Guide, and I am loving our travel-inspired time and themes so far this year. I've got my Gals Guide passport, and I'm collecting my stickers. And so for our listeners, don't forget that listening to each episode, you can get a sticker for your passport. So if you are a passport holder, which is $5 for the passport, you get free stickers all year. Otherwise, they are just $1, and they're super, super cute. And we can mail them to you no matter where you are in the world. I will also say we do about 45 episodes of the podcast a year. So if you have 45 stickers, I would get that passport because A, it's only a $5 investment, but you also get to turn in those stickers for free stuff at Gals Guide. Plus, they're also handmade by me.
They're adorable.
I try to make them really cute, and
They're
every
so
month they're
cute.
different. So yeah, they're little.
I
Little
love
silly.
them. You got to collect them all.
It's
Exactly,
a game.
yes. It's
It
like
is a
Pokemon.
game.
We'll trademark that.
Exactly. Oh wait, too late. I think the Pokemon people already did that one, but that's totally fine. But you can learn more about them at the Gals Guide shop at galsguide.org. So let's start this episode by evoking the Ghana proverb, which is, knowledge is like a baobab tree. No one can encompass it with their hands. I kind of liked it for my two plant people, Bonnie and Josh.
Nice.
Katie and I
Nice.
are not plant people, but we appreciate our plant people at the table. So that just makes me wonder, does Bonnie want to go first?
Always.
Okay, all right, sweet. Yay! Look at that. Perfect. Well, then who do you have for us?
I have a wonderful lady that I had not heard about.
Ooh, yay. I love it when it's even new to us. You know what I mean? Like sometimes there's a woman we want to, okay, she's a woman I want to explore later, but when you just find one that's new, it's exciting.
It's a lady, she's born in Egypt, so it's like, okay, that's still Africa.
Yes, totally.
But
yes.
it's very much like Muslim and harem culture.
right.
So it's like kind of Middle Eastern, but it's still
It's
Egypt
in
is
Africa.
still part of Africa.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So I'm gonna do the wonderful feminist revolutionist Huda Sha'arawi.
Nice.
I had not heard of her.
I do like a feminist and I do like a revolutionist. So both those things, yes.
She was born in 1879 in Cairo, Egypt.
Mhm.
And in 1882, Egypt was put under British rule.
Okay.
Her father was a government official who had multiple partners. I'm trying to figure out how to...
That's fair.
He had at least one official wife and had concubines, and she grew up in a harem household.
Gotcha.
I had heard like different stories about if her mother was also an official wife or the official wife,
Right.
but she kind of grew up with like two mother figures that she really looked up to. I'm not sure how many.
Yeah.
He had at least two ladies. I'm not sure how many.
Oh,
But there
gotcha.
was like her biological mother,
Right.
and then there was another woman there, and her like household nickname, like translated to Big Mother.
Oh,
So-
I like it. There you go. Big Mama. Now, if Big Mama was not happy, was nobody happy?
I don't know.
Kind of feel like that would be true.
Her father died when she was 5,
Oh, wow.
but they were kind of pretty well off. It sounded like she was definitely at least middle class, if not
Sure.
upper class. She had a tutor growing up and spoke at least 4 languages.
Nice.
Arabic, Turkish, French, and English.
Mm.
She wrote in her memoirs that she was influenced as a child by a visit from Madame Richard, a
That name
poet.
sounds familiar.
She's a
Yeah.
French lady.
Okay.
She's an educated woman, and she said she was influenced by her because she was not fearful to speak to men. Because she grew up in this harem environment where, like, women would speak, like, when you became an adult, you spoke to men who weren't in, like, your immediate family, like, through a screen.
Oh.
or something. Like, you
I mean,
couldn't
it
look
doesn't
at them.
surprise me, but at the same time, oh.
But here's this, like adult French woman who's just coming in and talking to people.
Talking to men like they're
Like,
people?
yeah.
Awesome.
And at the age of 11, she was separated from playing with the boys. Like,
Okay.
I guess it's like the age that, and she was like very confused by it all because her friends were her brother's friends, and they just all hung out as kids. And then at 11, they're like, no,
Puberty.
you can't hang out with the boys anymore.
Yeah.
When she was 13, a marriage was arranged for her to
Ew.
her cousin.
Oh.
It was just a cousin. I don't know if it's first or second or
Right.
anything, but I think
Sure.
it's first cousin. He was in his 40s.
Oh! It got worse.
Yep. And then either she or her family agreed to the marriage on the condition that he take no other wives.
Okay.
And shortly after their wedding, they discovered that he was with other women. And he was like, well, she's not my wife. She's
Oh.
my concubine.
Put a different name on
Like,
it.
yeah,
He
so
found a
she-
loophole.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Savvy.
just making sure she's not pulling any wires. So she left and went back home
Yeah.
and stayed home for the next 7 years, getting an education
Nice.
and hanging out with fancy French women.
Ooh.
Her brother had agreed to like not take a wife and support her.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's good.
Just where she's gonna pull out wires. But yeah, she spent the next 7 years getting an education, hanging out with fancy French ladies on their travels who wrote books and gave lectures, and starting giving her own lectures to women.
Ooh.
In 1910, she opened a school for women.
Nice.
She created the Intellectual Association of Egyptian Women in 1914.
I like it.
And 1919, the Egyptian Revolution against Britain happened.
Yeah. Okay.
And she and her husband, who when she was like 21 went back to him, I assume they were okay after that.
Sure. Right.
They had
Lack of options.
2 kids at
Okay.
some point. Or
So
at
they
least
were-
she had 2 children.
I was gonna say, so they were kind of okay at some point.
I guess it
Twice?
seems like they were fine after that. And I mean, she's like 21 at this point. Like, that's way better than 13.
Yeah. Very much.
But they fought for independence. I don't think it was like literally fought, but like
Yes.
revolution fought, not
Mhm.
like, with guns and pitchforks and stuff.
Right.
But, yeah.
Exactly. Fight with our ideas.
Yeah. In 1920, she became the president of the Women's Central Committee everyone kept referring to this thing as WAFTA, and
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what that is, but
Okay.
it sounds like it's a organization like for the freedom of Egypt.
Gotcha.
And at the time, like that culture believed that for a woman to have an education was great to raise
To a certain level.
to raise intelligent sons because you want
Oh.
a smart wife to be able to,
Yeah.
But they were against women joining the workforce.
Okay.
So that was,
So don't use
That's-
that intelligence for anything
Yeah,
besides baby
that's-
making.
that's a recipe
Okay.
for a revolution there.
Sure.
In 1923, she went to International Women's Suffrage Alliance in Rome,
Ooh.
and I want to look later
Yeah.
to see that's going to be a little too late for Susan B. Anthony,
Yeah.
but it might be
Pankhurst?
Pankhurst could be there,
Yeah.
or Alice Paul.
Oh, yeah,
So I'm gonna
yeah.
have to look and
Yeah.
see what other
Suffrage
suffrage
overlap.
because this is like
Mhm.
the same time that
Yeah.
is happening.
Yeah.
But you think of it just as like an English thing, but it sounds like it's kind of
It's a
happening everywhere
global thing. Yeah.
and like at the same time.
Nice.
But she went to that International Women's Suffrage Alliance in Rome, and when she returned, she removed her head covering
Oh,
at the
scandal.
at the train station in front of everybody.
Look at that.
But yeah, she fought for women's financial independence, for the minimum age for marriage to be raised.
Sweet.
She fought to restrict polygamy
Mhm.
in there, or at least, I don't think it's like the same, like forced polygamy, I guess.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Have it be a choice, maybe?
Yeah, like, A different kind of polygamy is what we think about now.
Yes, exactly.
And to have like, it was hard to sum it up, like better divorce outcomes for women.
Okay.
There were like restrictions on like what a woman could ask for a divorce for, or like custody if they had any kids.
Yeah.
Were just, in favor of men. And in 1923, the legal age for women to be married was raised to 16. So, a little bit better.
Yeah.
But, in 1923, I don't think the legal age in the United States was 16 either.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
context, right? Yeah, exactly. I never really thought about it. But yeah, no, it was really young for a while. It wasn't 18 for a while. Yeah. Oh, God.
And primary school was required for both boys and girls.
Sweet.
And, they had fixed some of the divorce laws, regulations. And Egyptian women got the right to vote in 1956.
Gotcha.
And she unfortunately died in 1947.
Oh,
so just like
right.
Alice Paul and Susan B. Anthony,
just before.
they didn't get to see it.
Yeah, exactly. But 56, she's fighting for it in the early 19-teens and still till 56 to get the right to vote. So, yeah, that's a long
Because when the
battle.
Egyptian got, I don't know if they were, I think they took a step. I don't think they're still a constitutional monarchy.
Okay.
But they were at one point, and
Yeah.
they made sure to put in that new constitution that only men could vote.
Oh. Somebody was sneaking
And they
about
were
it then?
doing the same kind of thing that they were doing here of like, oh, well, just, you women, just wait.
Mm-hmm.
There are other things that are more important right now.
We'll just go state by state.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Did she write books, write papers, write
She
speeches?
has
Okay.
like several memoirs, it sounds
Oh,
like.
sweet.
So there's a lot of writing from her for first person.
Nice. Kind of
About
like a
her
Maya
life.
Angelou, where it's probably different sections of her life and multiple.
I'm not sure, but they kept saying
biographies.
memoirs, so there's like
Yeah.
at least 2.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice. Another suffragette to add to your
She's
to your
giving me
knowledge.
very, very Alice Paul vibes.
Gotcha. There you go. I like it. Sweet. Do you two have any questions?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, not that I can think of.
There
It's
you go.
very good.
Sweet. For a second there, I was thinking Josh was getting into, but I listened to this podcast. Wait.
It is different.
When you get to interact in real time. Wait a second.
You can't
Long-time
talk to the
listener,
radio
First
now.
time caller.
Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. I love it. Sweet. Well, I'm glad that you picked her.
Yeah.
Definitely an inspirational gal for
Yeah.
sure. It's a lot to do during a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And her
Revolution.
taking the headscarf off at the train station has a lot of vibes with things still
Mhm.
going on
Mhm.
in some areas of the Middle East today. So
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Exactly. A small sense of protest that means epically, sends a lot of
Mhm.
waves out there. So yes, I should say a small effort that sends massive, waves.
Was she ever? Did she ever face like legal ramifications for doing some of the things she did?
She was arrested or anything?
I don't think. I think it was that she was so high class
Mm.
that nothing ever happened, or like I didn't hear anything about her being like arrested or fined for anything. But she was definitely in she was in the upper class for like Egypt, and then all the upper class like tourists that came by. So she was like speaking and writing letters to all these people that came through on their little European travel.
So she networked real well. Power player extraordinaire. I dig it. You guys want me to wrap it up?
wrap it up.
Dun, dun, dun. Our first African gal. Well, that wraps it up for us this week. Join us next week for another African gal is picked to share as the Gals Guide podcast continues. Thanks for listening. Want to learn about more women of history? Gals Guide opened a unique women's history lending library. Come visit and explore our collection. Learn more at galsguide.org. Thanks for listening.